So right off the bat, this is such a special episode to me.
Because it's episode 138?
Okay, for two reasons. It's such a special episode to me.
Okay, lay it out.
This is such a unique episode for me. So typically we sit down and we watch a movie separately,
Yep.
and then we sit down in front of our microphones separately, and then we answer one question.
Which is
typically some variation on the question, is this a good movie?
right.
Is this a movie we like? Do we enjoy this movie? But this time that wasn't the question I was answering. This time I was answering the question, does this movie hold up? Is this movie what I know it was at one point? The worldwide cultural phenomena for kids and the younger generation and merchandising and all of these things. Is it still that?
Wow.
And so it was fun. It was different.
Interesting. So there's a lot riding on this episode, is what you're saying.
I will quit the show if this episode doesn't go the way it should.
Well, on that note, welcome to the Movie Men podcast, everyone. I'm Brady, the man on the windowsill over there. Sorry, I'm not Brady. I'm Peter. Did I just say that? Wow. I'm Peter. The last time I checked, anyway. And
are you externalizing some desires, some fantasies?
And the man on the windowsill
flattered.
deciding to jump or not is Brady. I think I've got that right. So we're the movie.
I'm currently suffering from identity crisis now. I don't actually know who I am anymore. I thought I knew going into it, but you've got me turned around.
I've muddied the waters. We're the Movie Men podcast. Thank you for joining us. As you can tell by the episode notes, this is 2001 in film, where we had a vote. It was the second episode that we devoted to the year 2001. There's just so many films that were jam-packed into that year that we said, let's have two votes for it. Let's open up the floodgates a bit. And Spy Kids won the vote, beat out Atlantis, beat out Princess Bride, beat out Bridget Jones's Diary. And it sounds like it was a good thing that it did, because it sounds like we need to come full circle for Brady's kind of childhood, seeing how films pan out.
I'm gonna off the record here. It now feels as good a time as any to disclose this. It's probably going to be a reoccurring thing moving forward. This whole doubling up on a year thing. Just because it's so good now. It's like up until this point we've gone back through them, and especially in the teen years, like the 2010s, there was some years there was slim picking.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it was less about what movie do I think we should do, and it was which two do I not mind doing.
Or it was more like you made a list and you're like, okay, let's categorize them on how the least we want to do and not choose that one. And yeah, it's kind of like damage control.
Sure. Yeah. But now, and I don't know if this is just because we're in the years of our childhood now. I don't know if that's it or what it is. But it's it's so good. I'm looking at the movies that have come out in any given year, and it's there's just too many. There's too many to just pick 4 options for people to vote from.
Yeah, it's something I've been kind of questioning myself too, because I think I'm curious, is it a nostalgia factor? Is it these years that we're getting into now, or just plain and simple jam-packed with good films? Or is it just that these films have had enough time to breathe that maybe the films that from where we're sitting right now, like from within the last 5 or 10 years, maybe just given more time, audiences will have more appreciation for them or more openness to them. So I'm wondering, it's hard to know which of these three things. It could be none of the three. It could be something else I'm not mentioning. But it is just a curious question, what's leading us to feel this way, and it could be a lot of different factors.
Well, that's it, folks. You've heard it directly from Pete's mouth. More time is all, just some room to breathe is what Cats needs. And once Cats has a chance to ferment a little bit, it will be we'll appreciate it more.
It's it needs a lot more than time, I'll say that. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Spy Kids. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you got trivia?
Kind of. It's not in a question form. It's more just like I want to relay something to you.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. And before we get into it, I'm just going to say something in a cryptic code that only you will understand. We're good from an equipment perspective.
Okay. That's
a question.
That's good to know.
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So
I feel like I feel to the uninitiated, you could be asking me about like my groin with that. You'd be like, are you
No. It's
equipment is good?
No. It's podcast related. Completely podcast.
This is an episode about a children's movie, sir.
Microphones, recording gear, that is what it was in reference to. To be clear.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, you call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
So, Spy Kids.
Okay, so the trivia I've got for you is actually not Spy Kid related because I couldn't find any good nuggets on Spy Kid specific. So it's related to 2001 in the film industry. The two things that I just thought were interesting. The one I think I borderline didn't want to tell you because I think it might just bring up some past memories that kind of might be a little too raw for you. That really kind of might just ruin your day, but I'm going to share it anyway. I think it's time. It had time to breathe, and I think it's time to just bring it up again. But 2001 in the film industry marked the divorce of Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And you being such a Tom Cruise fan, I was a little nervous to bring that up, just because I know it's a little too soon. It's only been 20 years, so.
It's yeah, that's I mean it's just, when you have a favorite celebrity and someone who you see up on the screen and you just have a world of admiration and respect and just general awe for them, it's hard to see them go through something rough. And that's why my heart goes out to Nicole Kidman. Having had to be married like that, I can't. I mean, there aren't words.
Yeah, interesting. Very true. The other tidbit that I wanted to mention of interest of note, Shrek. Shrek came out in 2001. And, Shrek is very popular. And
speaking of taking the world by storm, Shrek was like everywhere, and every like didn't matter where you go or what you did, there was some sort of Shrek themed something.
Yes, and I think it marked a milestone in the film industry for that genre of something that really appealed to kids, to the children at the time, but also to the parents that took the kids to the movie. So I think it was a very popular movie, and for good reason. But regardless, it was not only popular among audiences, it won an Oscar in 2001, and it won the first of its kind. So it was the inaugural year for Best Animated Feature Film, and Shrek won it. So that's kind of a neat fact, and that happened.
I'm curious. I would be curious to know if it was like, if it was like they were planning on adding that anyways, or they were like, we need some sort of representation for this movie at the Oscars. It's Oscar worthy. We just don't have a category for it, so let's create a new one.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that as far as timelines, which came first, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Cool.
So, Spy Kids.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've got some interesting things to talk about, some fun things to say. You know, so fun. Okay. So fun cast. Some bigger names in this cast: Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
George Clooney.
Yes.
In a blink and you miss him kind of role.
Yeah.
Danny Trey. I never know how to say it, but the guy that plays Uncle Machete.
Yep.
Cheech Marin.
Yes.
Plays Uncle Felix. Alan Cummings plays Floop. What's his face? The guy that played the T-1000 in Terminator 2. He plays Johnny Cash's dad in Walk the Line. He's in it as like the buyer of the you know stuff. There's just so many. There's so many wonderful talents in this.
Yeah. So. Can I ask a question? And I did a bit of like digging, and I think it's more of an issue with Google that threw me off. It's not an issue with the film. But when I was watching it, and then when I looked at the cast list, a simple Google search, and I had the same experience as you did, just describing like all these famous actors coming in, and I kept scrolling and waiting to get past like all the names of that I could recognize, and I saw like George Clooney, Antonio Banderas, etc. And then something about the Google search just like brought up all these names that they were associated with a character who I didn't recognize, and like Jessica Alba was listed, Steve Buscemi was listed, Sylvester Stallone, Bill Paxton, Ricky Gervais, Elijah Wood, like all these actors who had like character names associated with them. And I literally, this Google search just tripped me out because I was like, okay, is this a mistake? Were they one of the thumbs walking around as a cameo? Like, I honestly was so blown away. So I'm thinking it's a Google mistake, but I'm clueless.
It's kind of a Google mistake. It's also a little bit of user error. And so what you did was, you did a Google search, and then you just looked at the names that kind of in that like scroll side to side menu that kind of pops up. That's what you looked at?
Yep.
Okay. Always stick with IMDb or Wikipedia or something, because what'll happen is it will show you related things. So like Google will, if you're Googling it, it'll kind of show you the most relevant things, and then it'll start showing you things that are still relevant, but maybe not exactly what you were searching for. So Steve Buscemi is in the sequel. Sylvester Stallone, Elijah Wood are in the third one. Gotcha. Jessica Alba is in the fourth one.
Gotcha.
I don't know about Ricky Gervais. He must be in the fourth one because that's the one I haven't seen, and I don't remember him in any of them. But as far as I know, I aside from Ricky Gervais, I can confirm that all of those names are Spy Kids adjacent, related.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily the first one.
That kind of makes sense then, because I was going to IMDb to kind of confirm this, and none of those names showed up. So I was like, okay, what's missing here? But that completely fills in those blanks. Okay, but regardless,
so
without those names, star-studded.
Had you seen this film before?
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a Spy Kids.
Oh, what?
I've seen a Spy Kids film on a plane.
Okay.
On a plane. And I'm pretty sure it was this one, because there were just some scenes and some moments that kind of rung a bell a little bit, but I obviously did not remember the vast majority of it.
Okay, so several questions. Did you not eat cereal growing up?
I did.
Because in a time and this is something I kind of wanted to talk about. So Spy Kids was huge. There were McDonald's Happy Meal toys. There was right. everything, because it was so cool. It was so marketable. It was what kid didn't want to be Carmen or Junie? Like,
right.
It was just so cool. That was the dream, right? It was such a fun world fantasy to be in. And so one of the ways that we had at least 3 copies of this movie, because back in the day where you would get DVDs in cereal boxes and computer games in cereal boxes, Spy Kids was one of them, which I was thinking about earlier today in preparation for this episode. Brilliant piece of marketing.
How so? Like, I agree with you, but just expand.
Because it didn't cost anything. And if people are going to be buying Cheerios anyways, why not get this movie into their house? Sure, you're not selling them a movie, but the fact that they have this movie in their house and the parents are going to throw it on for their kids, now you can start selling your toys. Now you can start selling your shirts. Now you can sell the sequel. Right.
Interesting.
Right. And so, and it's so fascinating to me that, like, just wondering if that tactic is a large portion of this film's success. And furthermore, interesting that they don't do this anymore.
Right.
Because you don't get movies or computer games in boxes anymore, which is bizarre to me. So I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, we don't do that anymore. And then I was like, why the hell not? It's easier now than ever. Instead of including a friggin' DVD in the front of the cereal box, just say that there's a code for a digital download inside.
Right.
Like, it's never been, and print it on the inside of the box. You don't actually have to even include another piece of cardboard or another piece of paper. It's never been this easy to give away entertainment, digital entertainment, in a flipping cereal box, and yet we've all just cheaped out. Nobody does it. And it's like, oh, well, okay, well, yeah, but, you know, what would you like? Movies that, like, what movies are you going to give away and stuff, man? And it's like, well, the movies that we had back in the day were, it was, you know, you weren't getting, it wasn't like you were getting the new Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in a thing. Right? So, I mean, there's all kinds of movies that are coming out now that you could, like a friggin' Peter Rabbit and stuff. Like, put that stuff in put that in a cereal box for the kids. Like,
I mean, you could just slap a QR code on there and just kind of it wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be so ezy. And from a marketing perspective, you've hit a nail on the head there.
I find it very fascinating. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have known that those people were in the other films in the series then. And I find it really interesting that you aren't familiar with this franchise. And I don't know if I was familiar with it prior to getting it in a cereal box. Like, I don't know which came first.
Sure.
I definitely, like, I wouldn't have gone and seen it in the theater. So yeah, that must have been what it was. It was a big thing though. I mean, the franchise continued, obviously, and the third one, Spy Kids 3D, was a really big deal because I don't know what year it came out. It would have been early 2000s.
Sure.
But this Spy Kids 3D was one of the movies that when you went and rented it so not all of the scenes. So Spy Kids 3D Game Over, it was called, and it's circles around the idea that there's this new video game that's being released, and you can, like, it's almost like a VR game, almost like a Ready Player One situation where you end up, like, in the game, but, like, people are getting trapped in the game, and it's this whole evil scheme, and so Junie has to go, and Carmen is missing, so Junie has to go into the game and stuff, and when you're in the game, everything's in 3D.
Oh, shoot.
So this was a movie back in the day where when you went to your video store to rent a movie, they would give you your DVD copy of Spy Kids 3D and then hand you your 3D glasses so you could watch it in 3D when you got home.
Sure. Oh, I remember.
And so that was a big, like, industry, like, stepping stone. It was a milestone in the industry for sure.
Right.
But so yeah, really interesting. I guess that you don't know about this film in like a nostalgic or in like a super familiar way. One other tidbit I'll give you here then.
Yeah.
So directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yes.
Who's directed a bunch of films you may know. Mm-hmm. He's done all of the Spy Kids movies.
Right.
He's done Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Or not Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Mexico, yeah, okay. Yep.
So like again, so it's like a, Mexican, Latino theme. Yeah. And then he did a movie with the Danny Trejo, whatever, called Machete. And then Machete and Machete Kills or something.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Okay, so yeah. So he's kind of like the whole Pixar thing, which Pixar has recently come out and said, sorry, that's actually bogus. That's not, good for you guys, but it's not true. All of Robert Rodriguez, why am I struggling here? All of his films loosely take place in the same universe.
Oh, okay.
And it's just interesting because so you have this character in the Machete and Machete Kills movies, who's played by the same guy who plays Machete, Uncle Machete in Spy Kids.
Right, and that did raise an eyebrow.
And it's not I don't know if it's officially the same character. It's kind of hinted at that maybe it's loosely the same character. But then it's just very interesting because, like I had you watch Once Upon a Time in Mexico, right?
Right. Very, very interesting watch. Very interesting.
Right. Not a kid's movie. A big departure in tone from something like Spy Kids.
Oh,
well, similarly, like in the first Machete movie, Danny, what's-his-face, has a threesome with a very much naked Lindsay Lohan and some other girl who I don't recognize. But like that movie is about like murder, sex, drugs, drinking, and and it's very and rape and assault and all of these. Like it's a really aggressive movie.
Sure.
And so yeah, it's just interesting. Like it's interesting for two reasons. One, interesting if it is in fact loosely the same character.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's not, just interesting that you have someone with this flavor, right? So it's kind of the equivalent to if you had Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
He's coming out. He's going to do a new film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's he's going to do his rendition. And you wouldn't even recognize it as a Quentin Tarantino film. I mean, maybe there's some things about it. Maybe he uses actors who he typically uses in his other films and stuff. Right. But it's Quentin Tarantino, and you're gonna laugh, but I'm serious. Yeah. It's Quentin Tarantino presents like Garfield the cat. It's just such a departure from, and interesting because Quentin Tarantino would probably deliver a kick-ass Garfield movie, right? Just because he's Quentin Tarantino. So for Rodriguez to do like a kids franchise and kind of a campy, silly, over-the-top kids franchise to boot, it's interesting. But it's like it's like if Spielberg came out tomorrow and said, "I'm going to do a Barney the Dinosaur movie." You better bet your ass that this is going to be the best friggin' Barney the Dinosaur movie that Hollywood could possibly put out.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going to feel things, and it's going to have epic moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's kind of one of those things that if you get true, proper talent,
right,
and you put them behind your project, what your project is becomes significantly less important.
Interesting.
Because the talent will shine through.
Right. The idea that creators creating is the more important aspect of what is being created, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? You could put me in charge of, like, what's an incredible franchise?
Lord of the Rings. Sure.
Right? And they could be rebooting Lord of the Rings,
Sure.
which I know makes you cringe, but it will happen.
It will happen.
It's going to happen eventually.
It maybe should happen. It's been 20 years.
It's been a long time. Now we're getting the Amazon TV show, which I assume you're just chomping at the friggin' bit for.
Right. Do we have a release date if we're just doing a side note here?
Soon?
Cat. I can live with soon. I can.
Soon. And it's not directed by Peter Jackson, but is very clearly, my understanding is very much set in Peter Jackson's Middle-earth.
Okay.
Right? There'll be no moment where you're like, well, that's not what Gondor looks like. You know, you'd be like, oh my God, there's Gondor. And so, but it's Gondor from like 1,000 years ago. So maybe it does look a little different, but, so anyways, yeah. So, say it's 10 years from now and you have a property like Lord of the Rings. And you put me in charge of it. It doesn't matter that it's Lord of the Rings. It's going to be a shit like I can't make Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
Right? So it's the same thing. But yeah, it's just crazy to see that, right? It's like it's the Russo brothers. The Russo brothers who are now known for doing Avengers Infinity War and Endgame and all this stuff. Put them in charge of a kids movie. Put them in charge of the next Smurfs movie.
Right.
It's probably going to be a freaking good Smurfs movie because it's the Russo brothers. Right. So anyways.
I think you raised there's a lot of things to break down of what you said. The first is completely agree. If you get just a bunch of talented, creative minds together, the product that will be made, doesn't matter the topic, is bound to be good. The second is, according to Wikipedia, and it's vague, it could be out of date, it says the first 8 episodes of this Lord of the Rings series is expected to premiere in 2021. So maybe this year. Maybe. And the last thing I want to break down of what you've said, just because it's resonated in my mind ever since you mentioned it, is just betting your bottom dollar that if Steven Spielberg makes a Barney rendition, that if Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio and John Williams were involved as they were in Catch Me If You Can, that would be my new favorite movie.
Right. Leonardo starring as everyone's big favorite purple dinosaur.
I don't even care. It could literally, Leonardo could be the chimney sweep number 4. As long as these creative minds...
I don't know how familiar you are with Barney. I don't think there's chimney sweeps.
Listen,
I get that it's been a hot second since Barney was a thing, but think back, man.
It's set. This rendition of Barney will be set kind of in London in the Industrial Revolution, kind of a la the Mary Poppins. Kind of picture that.
Oh, okay, yeah, a proper Mary Poppins sequel.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Okay, so what do you think of this movie then? Technically almost being your first viewing.
Yeah, I would count it
your
as
first proper viewing.
I would label it as that. I think we've come at it from 2 different point of views, right? So I think I'm literally watching it as an adult, so I never experienced it as a child. To say, hey, I can envision myself being the hero. I can envision myself being these kids. I can, envision myself relating to these adventures, to living them, to having fun with them. I literally just watched it as an adult, watched it as a film for the 90 minutes that it was. And, I think I'm not being facetious. I'm not even making this personal, but you mentioned something about Amelie, which is actually there was something you mentioned about Amelie that resonated with me with this film. Is I think I was more into it for the first 10 minutes. And just because I was watching it as an adult, there were storylines or components of potential storylines that I think I was more intrigued with that this movie went away from or just really didn't cover. And so for the first 10 minutes, I was really into it. I really loved this idea of this backstory of agents falling in love and adjusting to family life. And I think I was maybe anticipating more, and I think I would have liked more if it had been more like a action comedy around this family, and maybe they're being hunted at like PTA meetings and soccer practices and adjusting to spy life as a family, and the kids kind of take something on. And I think just having it ended up being more action centered around the kids, and I can definitely see why that was a hit with kids at the time. But just as an adult watching it now, I feel that unlike Shrek, I feel like there wasn't enough as an adult for me to bite on and chew on, that I think I had to be younger to really either have a nostalgic connection or just really kind of bite into what they were selling.
Sure.
I think that's kind of what it comes down to. I think you could summarize it as, I guess I watched it too late. Right?
you missed your chance.
And I mean, part of me is, it's called Spy Kids. So, I mean, it obviously can't be centered around the family or more centered around the parents. And I think obviously the parents leave quite early on, and it is centered around the kids. And I think that's the fundamental point of the show, is to have a movie about kids for kids. And that kind of theme kind of comes throughout the film. And I just think ultimately, I think I wanted a different film, which
sure,
someone could argue that's not fair to me, because I should know what film I'm going into, and I can't expect Lord of the Rings from Harry Potter or from James Bond. I have to go into with realistic expectations of what a film is about. But regardless, when I watched those first 10 minutes, I think that's where I wanted the film to go. That's not where it went. And just as an adult watching it, not with someone who has memories of it or who was the right age, it was what it was to me.
Right. Now, did you watch this movie alone?
I didn't. So this is where I'm going to get into... Sorry, I did watch it alone. And this is where I'm going to get into some hot water, because I have a spouse who... I've met her. It was part of the trivia questions, actually. I was like, do you think I have a spouse?
Do you think I'm married? Or, or is this child of mine, is someone going to come... Am I going to have an unfortunate phone call at some point when I need to return this child?
Right. No, my spouse definitely was familiar with this film. I think it was probably in the same realm as you, as far as maybe not got it from a cereal box or maybe didn't watch it as much, but definitely watched it as a child to some degree. I haven't discussed exactly like how much she had riding on this. And just due to time constraints, we watched something else and not Spy Kids together. So I'll be curious to ask her if she rewatches it, if it holds up as a child, and how much she loved it as a child. So I haven't spilt the beans to her that I'm a heartless robot, and it didn't make me feel.
But I mean, either way, like she obviously she knows that you watched it without her, and that wasn't, like...
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you able to comment on the comfortability of your couch, or are you still sleeping in the bed? Like, what's she wasn't fuming and heartbroken and crushed that you like chose to watch it without her.
Exactly. No. My hip hasn't given out from sleeping on the floor.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. That's cool. Yeah. Cool. So did anything stand out or something you do like about it?
I think I kind of talked about what I said. I liked the family component, and I think, like I said, I would have liked to see more of it, and I thought it was just fun dynamics of the parents having this past that they've moved on from, and I loved seeing a glimpse into it when they're like at their desks, which are actually computer stations, and they're doing some side research. But then they're also just talking about real life things like, hey, Billy really isn't getting along with friends at school, or you see the dad getting kind of bullied by another dad. And, even the kids' interactions with the parents, who they eventually find out that the parents have like a alternate life and the kids have these abilities. And I think I liked the dynamics that we saw in these characters. And so I think that would be the main thing, that my takeaway thing that I enjoyed. But again, it's kind of a double-edged sword because I would have liked to see it more. So it's kind of a compliment, but kind of a critique.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the things I like then.
Please. No. Yeah.
The gadgets. The gadgets are a total blast. Whether we're talking about in some ways, this delivered the gadget motherlode to me that most of the James Bond movies failed to. Whether it be the ring with her ring that shoots the laser out of it, or the acid crayon that melts the bars to the jail cell, or even just the little microscopic cameras, or the glasses with the spectral readouts in them and stuff. Like, to me, that was so much fun, and fun as a kid to fantasize about, you know?
So I think two things I want to say to that is, one, I'm definitely seeing where we had our James Bond series, so anyone who hasn't listened, check it out. Was a fun 26 episode ride, soon to be 27, COVID pending. But regardless, I'm definitely seeing where that gadget interest or gadget film
fetish.
Critique, I don't want to call it that, but that gadget interest was planted it for you. And you know what, I will admit to you this: there were some things that didn't age well. Just in general, some of the CGI was a little at times.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I have to admit, I never thought of this. The gadgets were pretty solid, and they didn't age with 20 years. I mean, yes, there's, early 2000s screens and whatnot. Look past it. The actual fun, made-up gadgets that were used by the characters they were fun. They were realistic as far as like shooting lasers, and looked cool, and they held up. So I will give you that. They did hold up.
Screens seem to be the one thing tech-wise that never age well in movies. Like, I was watching...
Yeah.
Recent, like, in the last couple of months, I watched all of the Alien films. And these are movies that are set, like, 1,000 years in the past. And the tech reflects that, except for the fact that they're very clearly computer screens from the 80s. And you're like, really? This is everyone, like, consistently across the board? You all just thought that was the pinnacle of screen technology?
Right.
Like, they're not even flat. They're not even... what?
But, which I have to say, we have to give a shout out to Minority Report, because that was at least a cool 2002 film where at least the screens were kind of futuristic, and yes, they might be different, worse, better than what we've got today, but at least it was something kind of reimagined that kind of aged well in a film perspective. So that was something cool. Just speaking of computer screens and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that. I like the world that they've created. I like that that physics in this world, just when someone's jumping or they're falling or they take a hit, everything's a little bit cartoony. Like physics are just slightly off. Not so off that it's like, oh, okay, this is ridiculous. But like off just enough that it just adds sort of a skimmed layer on the top of additional fantasy to it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
And then finally, I get a total blast out of some of the humor in this movie. Jokes that I still find funny, like when Junie puts the glasses on, and they're in the safe house and they're learning all of this tech, and it's a lot of fun. And Junie puts these glasses on, and he looks at his sister Carmen, and he goes, "Oh, gross." And she's like, "What do you see?" And he's like, "You." And I'm like, "Oh, it's so like it's just funny." But the best line in this whole movie is the guy, I can't remember his name, but the actor that plays like the main big bad guy, not Floop above him, not Mr. Minion above him, the power suit guy.
Yeah, not
his
Alexander something. Yeah. I know who you're referring to.
Yeah, so the character's name is Mr. Lisp. And there's this amazing joke that I never got until watching it this time. Never got it as a kid. Sure. So there's a moment where someone is addressing him towards the end, and they say, something, 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 Mr. Lisp. And he's like, actually, it's Mr. Lisp. And it's just, there was just this like subtle, quick, they don't make a big deal out of it. And you're like, she said Mr. Lisp with a lisp. And then he corrected her because it's not actually said with a lisp. But to me, that was just like, I don't know why. That was comedy gold. It was comedy gold because they didn't try to hit you over the head with it. They just put it in there, and if you were smart enough to catch it, you caught it. And right. If you didn't catch it, you moved on. Right? You weren't aware that you missed anything.
Right. Well, they didn't hit you over the head with it. It's more, you have to pick it up on your own, and if you do, you'll kind of catch it. Yeah.
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 So stuff like that, stuff like Devlin, who's played by George Clooney, taking the black bar off of his eyes on the video screen and cleaning it off and putting it back on.
I have to admit, that was pretty good.
Yeah, just little subtle touches like that made it a lot of fun for me. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you have anything else?
Not really. I mean, I think it just ultimately comes down to I watched it as an adult. I didn't watch it as a child, so the things that I think could have appealed to me in the past just didn't because of when I watched it. You know, I was watching these thumb robot guys and, things like that. I was like, okay, I'm not really here for this. Or the one thing I will say is I was originally critiquing the villain being a little shallow, but it was kind of fun how they had him come around a little bit, and it wasn't like a completely rich character by any means, but it was something kind of fun that they kind of swapped out who the villain was a little partway through. So I'll give it that.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, that's all I got.
So 0 to 10.
Okay, so there's the 0 to 10. You have to make a promise to me. Miss.
I will do no such thing.
Okay. The promise is you can't delete me as a friend on Facebook.
Okay. I won't. I will neither add nor delete you as a friend on Facebook.
I gave this a 3.3 out of 10.
Oof. I feel that.
Yeah. So for those that are not familiar with my rating score, that means it falls into the category of, I guess I would watch it if I was at the cottage and there was no Wi-Fi and it was raining out.
That's brutal.
It is a little brutal. On brutal. Marshall's scale, I think I gave it a 3. I could maybe go to a 4, but probably a 3. So kind of both scales kind of gave it a similar score.
I think it's time you stop speaking for Marshall, because maybe Marshall really enjoys this film.
Hey, he did vote for it, so...
Yeah, there you go.
He probably gave it a better score. What did you give it out of 10?
I give it a 7. I think, it's... For what it is, you have to watch it for what it is, and you have to rate it for what it is.
Sure.
And I think for me, for what it is, it's fun. It's lighthearted, and yeah, for what it is, I think it's got great execution.
Cool. No, that's fair. Yeah. And even though I gave it a low score, there were things that you mentioned throughout that I'm like, oh, okay, that's fair. It did do this. Yeah. It did do that. So, from an intellectual perspective, I can meet you and say, hey, wasn't for me, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
Cool. So I need to ask you a question that I don't want to ask you.
Okay.
I'd rather not be the one to ask it to you.
Oh.
But okay. I've been given no choice. What did you watch this week, Pete?
What did I watch this week? I think it was down to one film. My memory is not what it used to be, son. I mentioned watching the sequel to Mary Poppins to you. I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Since then, I've watched, just the one film. I watched the next film in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I watched The Two Towers. I watched it in 4K, and oh man, is it sharp? Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've watched this film, so just watching it just in general has been a treat. But there's definitely been a couple scenes where, and I've given, just for the record, I've given the film the best pedestal to be watched on. I have the lighting proper. I've given, turned the phone ringer off. So I've watched it and it's been enjoyable. And there's been a couple scenes with the 4K that just, when we were done, I rewatched because they're some of my favorite films. Two Towers was on the top of my top 10 films list. So there were a couple scenes that I rewatched to watch in 4K that I was like, ooh, just gotta soak that in. So that is the only thing I watched this week, but I think it definitely counts for more than one just in the scorebook because of its length and because it's a baller film. So
yeah. And in the 4K version of Two Towers, if you look really closely,
okay,
it's actually crisp enough that you can see the box that Gimli would have stood on had Legolas gone and fetched it. It's there. So he wasn't, Legolas wasn't just being a dick. It was available.
Wow, wow, that is something. I'm going to have to watch. I'm going to go back and check. I believe you 1,000%. And
it's a banana box.
It's been 19 years since that film came out. I think it's done us a disservice not having it in 4K to see that. So it's about dang time is all I can say.
Just now it makes sense from a continuity. I feel like that was the final plot hole.
And all this time I thought Legolas was just a jackass, but now we realize he was.
No, he is.
Wasn't.
He is. Well, but this scene isn't. It's not an example of it.
That's not why. But it wasn't for that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. What did you watch this week?
I watched one film. Twice. A film that I told you last week.
Right.
That I was fairly certain was going to be a recommendation for you.
Right. I forgot all about this, all the teasers that you dropped for this. Yeah, I'm curious again.
And I watched it.
Okay.
And then I watched it again.
So you watched it twice?
Twice.
Okay. And, sorry, just lay it down, you watched it and you watched it again, or did you watch it again because someone else was like, oh, I need to watch it with you? Just give me some context why you watched it again.
Because I wanted to see it again.
So it was just that. Okay. Wow.
And so I am recommending to you.
Dang.
Which is something we don't do very often anymore.
No.
I think the last time I did it was Invisible Man.
There's to be detail oriented or to be legalistic about this or litigious. There's about two that are on the back burner that I do intend on watching someday. One is an apocalypse movie with Gerard Butler, and then there's another one that was it's kind of like a indie movie, and I'll have to go back into the details of what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember this one.
I'll have to look that one up. But regardless. Okay. You're right. We don't do this weekly, only by exception, only when we feel just motivated that we have to recommend this. So this is one of those films, obviously.
It is. Written and produced by the same person who did the John Wick films, and it shows.
Huh.
For just fun, senseless, gratuitous, over-the-top violence and fighting and action and whatever. The 2021 film.
Okay.
Nobody. That's it. That's all I'm going to tell you. No, that's not all I'm going to tell you. I will tell you that, and is this a spoiler? This isn't a spoiler. If you watch this film,
okay,
you will see a shotgun wielding Christopher Lloyd just plowing people down, which is something you didn't know you needed until you see it. And then you're like, oh, I needed that.
Which, if I'm correct, and I'm going on a limb on this because I haven't seen it, I believe in the 4K anniversary box set of Back to the Future, there is a deleted scene of Christopher Lloyd doing just that. But am I right?
Just that, yeah. But because it wasn't part of the theatrical, you can't count it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But good for you. That's some good Back to the Future trivia there. That's good. That's good.
Wow. Nobody. Okay. I'll put it on the list. That is interesting. You watched it twice. Twice. Wow.
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Little weak from the story standpoint, but it's not the point of the film.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
Before I ask you to wrap it up, can I do a little bit of shameless self-promotion?
Do it.
I have launched a 6th YouTube channel. I've launched another YouTube channel.
Right.
And it's a gaming channel. So if that's something you think you would enjoy, just, watching me play video games and do some pretty funny, over-the-top, witty commentary, then check out the link below. I've been ramping things up. Currently right now, Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, I release 2 half-hour videos every day.
Dang.
That's a thing, man. Whew. So, so go over, check it out. Link is in the description down below here. Please subscribe. Just do it. Don't be like that. Don't be a Karen. Just subscribe.
Perfect.
Okay, wrap it up, sir.
Cool. Well, everyone, follow, subscribe on our various social media pages below: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You know what to do. Please rate and review us positively wherever you're listening to us. If you're feeling so inclined, check out our Patreon page, our merchandise page. It's where you can go help us support the show, keep the lights on, and help us grow. And it's also a way for us to throw some perks back at you. While we're talking about Patreon, we are doing a current giveaway where if you are an existing patron, or you sign up to be a patron, or if you send us a voice or audio clip of asking us what we watched that week and you telling us what your name is and where you're from, you can be entered to win one of 3 $10 gift cards. Technically, they're iTunes gift cards, but listen, if iTunes isn't your jam and you win, you just let us know. We'll swap it out for $10 to Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever $10 gift card you'd like. Don't let the iTunes be the hiccup for entering. But yeah, we like giving these giveaways for our Patreon supporters, and those are the ways you can enter. So check it out.
Wow. Yeah. Give us an example. What would it sound like if I sent in what you watched this week thing?
Okay. So you'd either just record it on your phone and email it to us, or if you just go to Facebook Messenger and message the Movie Man podcast, and you'd hit the record button and send an audio clip, you'd say, "Hi, my name's Steve. I'm calling from the Northwest Territories. This week I watched Cats. It sucked. What did you guys watch this week?"
It's that simple.
It is that simple.
Well, count me in. I'll do it next week.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay. All right. Actually, I should do that. I should pre-record it like it's not me.
Okay. Do it.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
What did you watch?
This week I watched The Human Centipede.
Oh, jeez.
And I thought it was really interesting and has maybe led to me reconsidering what I'm taking post-secondary school for. I might want to get into medicine.
Dear gosh.
What did you guys watch this week?
That might be an example of someone entering a contest that we automatically disqualify, but don't let that stop you.
Or contact the authorities.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, if you send that in and then you go to jail, when you get out of jail, I just want you to know that I was against reporting you, but Pete said that it was the thing to do.